So the new games have kicked off on Game Pass in 2023, and we have some amazing titles. If you guys want a nice discount on Game Pass and Xbox gift cards, I've partnered with Xbox. Check my site in the description and use code Xbox Central. I'm Sonny, your host, and let's kick this off with two games that have released within the past week, starting with Stranded Deep, a game that puts you in the shoes of a plane crash survivor stranded in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Only, guys, no help is coming in the immediate future, and you have to fully survive. With only your smartwatch to monitor your health and your wits, you'll be set out to explore the islands and survive via hunting, building, crafting tools, all while surviving very harsh conditions. And of course, the wildlife is running around and they're a big threat, as well as, of course, man-eating sharks. If you guys are a fan of survival games, Stranded Deep is one of the more unique titles and one that is well developed for single-player action. It does feature some co-op if you guys want to survive with friends, and one cool aspect about this game is the procedurally generated islands. It definitely adds some replayability, and it has a little bit of a progression system that has you kind of crafting your way up, and of course you'll be beating these sea creatures to advance these three terrifying sea creatures to finish the game. So it's an excellent one, and one that has been well loved over the years. Stranded Deep is currently on Game Pass right now for consoles, cloud, and PC. And our next game is Mortal Shell, and this might be one of the more underrated dark fantasy RPG Souls-like to have released in the past few years. Made by just a team of 15 developers, you play a wraith who possesses 4 different warriors who were lost long ago, and you take over their abilities and the masteries of their combat. You're also able to switch between them, all with their own special unique abilities, and you can take on different classes like the balanced warrior or a shifty rogue. But while this Souls-like adventure does play a lot like the game Dark Souls, it does have its own unique story with challenging epic boss fights. The combat is pretty satisfying overall, and a good thing that I do like about Mortal Shell is that it doesn't take long to beat. It can be finished around 13 to 20 hours depending on your skill level. Mortal Shell is now available to play on Game Pass on consoles, PC, and cloud. So we're getting a first-hand look at more Persona titles hitting Game Pass, starting with Persona Portable 3, which is the remastered version of the PSP title that dropped long ago. This version hitting Game Pass comes with remastered visuals, smoother gameplay, and lots of quality of life features, and the game's all about taking down powerful shadows as high school students, packed with memorable stories and some great quality turn-based combat and excellent RPG mechanics that you're pretty much used to with the Persona series. Persona Portable 3 hits Game Pass on January 19th on consoles, cloud, and PC. So coming out the same day, Persona 4 Golden is one title that the Persona fans might be the most excited about. Golden takes you and your friends on a wild mystery after a series of mysterious murders have taken place. Players get to explore a vast new world, interact with kindred spirits, and come face to face with some pretty evil darkness. Persona 4 Golden is considered one of the best entries in the entire Persona series, with overwhelmingly positive user reviews from both players and critics alike, and this is a game that I've gotten to play from start to finish, and it's why I'm even sold on the series itself. The story is very well written and keeps you wanting more. The characters are memorable, the gameplay is surprisingly good. I'm not typically a huge fan of turn-based mechanics, but the combat is very deep with this one. It really keeps you engaged. Not only that, you get about 80 to 90 hours of gameplay just to beat the title, and even if you haven't had a chance to play any of the Persona games before like me, you can easily dive into Persona 4 Golden and experience, honestly, one of the best JRPGs ever made. Persona 4 Golden hits on January 19th for the consoles, cloud, and PC. Capcom's beloved franchise is finally making the rounds onto Game Pass this January with Monster Hunter Rise. It's the 6th main entry to the long-running series that lets you explore a variety of new maps to hunt down some insane monsters. Some of the new creatures that are now featured in this game are inspired by Japanese folklore, and Monster Hunter Rise pits you against a variety of new and old challenging and dangerous creatures. You have the option of going at it alone in this game, or you can tag along with other players in multiplayer quests to take on even more challenging tasks with you or up to 4 players. If you guys love action RPGs and you just love collecting and crafting and fighting epic boss fights with insanely big monsters, you simply can't go wrong with Monster Hunter Rise. One of the cool aspects of this as well is that this game has been ported for gorgeous next-gen visuals with Xbox Series X and S. You'll be getting 4K 60 FPS, so you are getting top-notch visuals with this game. Monster Hunter Rise hits January 20th on consoles, cloud, and PC. And with that, let's hit some games that are coming later in January, and real-time strategy games just can't get better than the Age of Empires series. The games themselves are the pinnacle of of RTS games, and for good reasons. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition comes packed with a history of over 1,000 years that breaks down into different civilizations and cultures to give you over 200 hours of action-packed gameplay. This is great news, guys, for all Xbox and console owners who are going to finally get a chance to experience pretty much the ultimate RTS gameplay on their next-gen consoles with optimized controls for Xbox controllers. The best part about this too, you get to share this experience with other players and exciting new co-op modes, and of course you do have that awesome single-player aspect of it as well. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is set for a release later this January. And our next game's an interesting one heading to Game Pass in Inkulinati. This is a turn-based strategy title set in a world heavily inspired by medieval manuscripts. The game features a colorful cast of characters that includes sword-wielding rabbits, archer dogs, man-eating snails, and pretty much all the weird characters that you can think of. But besides the hilarious world settings, Inkulinati seems to offer some in-depth tactical battles driven by the skills, abilities, and weapons that your army possesses. It's not your average game, but rather like a living meme embodied in a video game where donkeys fight with trumpets down their bottoms and cats destroy heretics with prayers. If that wasn't enough, you can even use a giant hand to whack your opponents. It's a very, very quirky game, and one that does see a release later this January for Game Pass, and it will be a day one title. With that, those are the final games confirmed for Game Pass this month so far, but I feel safe in letting you guys know the game Shadow Warrior 3 was sent out as a notification to Xbox players that this is hitting Game Pass at some point. We're still waiting for the announcement of the exact date, so we might see it pretty much any day now, and that's pretty much my prediction. This is a first-person shooter that mixes fast-paced melee combat with gunplay, with also this really cool free-running movement style. So you'll be mixing your gameplay between a mixture of blades and a mixture of bullets at the same time. Now, the quick adrenaline-inducing gameplay, I have to say, is up my alley with this one. The game also does come in with a Metacritic score of 71, and it released back in March of 2022, so it's a fairly newish game, but we'll wait for the final notice from Xbox themselves when we finally get to see it. And then lastly, we have the games that are leaving Game Pass with Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, Nobody Saves the World, Paparazzi, The Anacrusis, We Happy Few, and then the game Windjammers 2. And then Xbox said in their newsletter today to expect to see more games soon, so I think we're gonna have a quick announcement. My guess is next week for more Game Pass titles coming out this January, so I'm really excited for that. And there's also going to be an Xbox showcase that's rumored this month, so we might have tons of Game Pass games. With that, guys, click the video on the screen if you guys want to see 30 amazing games coming out this year in 2023 for Game Pass. And guys, it is a stacked year, so you guys don't want to miss out on that video.